Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing good. So I wanted to make some comments, just say some things that I've noticed that no one's really talking about with the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. Um, I think he's going to be found, that it was done in self-defense, which it absolutely seems that it was. But that really shouldn't be what people are seeing right now. What you should be seeing is what many of us have been saying for over a year, 2 years, is why is this kid even being put in this situation? I mean, yes, it's great that, oh yeah, fight for, keep your place safe and all of these things, but there comes a point where you're literally fighting a brick wall. And when you are in these northern and mainly the northeastern states, you are fighting a brick wall. You are being simply tolerated, and there's pretty much nothing. Your kids are going to have to fight every day just at their schools. All this crap's being shoved down their throats. I mean, for your sheriff's department to allow mass rioting to go on, why are you staying in these places? We've been saying it for a while. You have to get out. And let me appeal to, because Christians are like, well, no, we should stay. This is our land. We built this. Okay, yeah, but no. The Hebrews were called out of Egypt. They didn't want to leave, particularly. Some of them wanted to go back after they crossed. But God's plan was for them to leave and go to the promised land. The same with our founding fathers, and not just our founding fathers. A lot of people, we all kind of do this. We talk about just the founding fathers. But there was a lot of important people that were before the founding fathers. That, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, which is, my family is French. But those are the things that we don't look at. Yeah, I'm sure they wanted to stay in France. Who wanted to just up and leave to this barren land where you might have to fight off, the natives and all of these things? It's like it would have been easier. Actually, in like my case, I believe that my family had like castles and stuff. Like, of course, they probably like, I could live in my castle, or we can do the best thing for our future and leave. And that's really what this all boils down to. There comes a time where you see that why should you put your through like that, through such a situation? Why make them grow up in such a hostile environment? And not only that, it's actually going to probably work on them, and then they're going to turn out to be like that, to where they're going to be really angry because of it, and that's what I'm seeing a lot of. They're really angry because of it, and then they end up in such a shit situation. And I'm not saying what he did was wrong. I mean, he seemed to have good intentions, and my point is not to look at him. I'm saying you're living in a state that is having to call the National Guard in over a 17-year-old self-defense case. This should not be happening, but they're allowing it to happen. If that was happening in a southern state, it wouldn't be happening. It would have already been thrown out, self-defense. My point is, get your families out of these blue states. Come south, and if I had to say anywhere, I would say Florida. I think it's the best bet, but, secondary, I would say Texas, anywhere right there. Georgia's a little bit iffy, but you're really close to Florida, so, but absolutely get out of these places. You're just sitting there being tolerated. Your children are being indoctrinated. Get out. Just get out. And go somewhere where you can actually live a good life, have your kids live a good life. You don't have to tolerate such ignorance, because the way things are going, it's going to turn. Look at what's happening to California. Oh yeah, it's not that bad. Now people are just openly having supermarket sweep style, they're going through supermarkets just stealing. What's going to happen? In a couple months, all of your grocery stores are going to shut down. All of these things are going to shut down because they're going to be tired of it. They pretend to be liberals, but whenever it starts hitting their bottom line, they're like, forget it, I'm out. And then Amazon's just going to have to take out for it. So, it's like, that's what's going to happen with all of these states. When you keep going liberal to such an extreme where it's just lawlessness, that's what you end up with. It's just lawlessness. This is not, what they're doing is not even the real liberal in the sense of what liberal means. It's just lawless, and they're just being divisive. But you shouldn't live in a place where, and it would be hard, but just get up and move. It's better to do it now than when it's too late, because there's going to come a time, likely very soon, where it will be too late, with the way things are going. So you might as well do it now when you have the opportunity to do it, and when they're still hiring all kind of people everywhere in the South. And see, that's another thing. People are like, oh, but no, Nebraska's good or South Dakota's good. If they weren't landlocked, they are landlocked. So even if they're good, everything around them affects them. So the shipping, where everything's coming from, affects them. You could be the most conservative state ever, but when you are surrounded, unless, of course, if you're living off-grid and you think you're going to handle it on your own, whatever. If you have a group of people, that's cool, whatever, that's you. But you have to be logical. In the South, no matter what happens in these other states, we still have access to our ports and, supply chains. If things went completely bad, we still would be able to get things in and out, with South America, with all of these things. And that's what you need to be thinking about. When you are in a landlocked state like that and you're surrounded by nothing like that, just people that don't even care, they just want to be lawless because they're just using emotions rather than anything else, just leave. This boy should not even been put in this situation. The DC and mainstream media, all of these people fueled this fire, and it's terrible. It's terrible. The whole situation, I mean, whatever. Like, I would have done the same thing if I was in his position. I'm just saying, like, you shouldn't have to live your life in such chaos. When your sheriff won't even, essentially be there for you, or the sheriff's next door, like, that's the thing. All of these things matter. It doesn't even matter who's in DC. It matters who's in your local offices and who's surrounding you. When you're surrounded by a bunch of ravenous wolves, then even if you're the strongest lion in the whatever wilderness, you still are likely gonna be eaten. That's what sucks. So just get out. Just get out. I think the verdict's gonna come in. He's gonna be found that it was self-defense, but you shouldn't be put in that situation when you have other options. Like, if things just all went down at one time throughout the country, then, we'll have to deal with it. That's something that we would have to deal with. But when it's just in these specific blue places, just by happenstance, and they just keep allowing it and keep allowing it, and now, like, Philadelphia's like, you can't pull over black people because it's driving while black. Just, like, the craziest things. Just crazy. And that really is going to be so dangerous for black women. That's who's going to be the most affected. And they don't care because they just want to look like they're doing something good. When, they call good evil and evil good. That's just what they do. Anyway, guys, if you'd like to help support my channel, please do. It's completely demonetized, and just never know what YouTube's going to pull down these days. They just like to pull down everything. So, anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and I think everything's going to go fine with him, but get out of these states. That's really your only option. Bye, guys.